Good morning. Thank you for joining us here on Pastor's Corner. Hope you had a blessed week. Thank you for all your prayers and your support. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment, all those good things. We're going to be going to the book of Galatians chapter 6, starting with the 7th verse. It says, "Be not deceived." Don't be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. And let us not be weary in well-doing. Let us not be weary, not to get tired in doing the right thing. For in due season we shall reap if we faint not. In other words, we'll get the benefits for doing the right things if we stay in and we don't faint. We talked about fainting recently. As we have therefore opportunity, when opportunity's there, let us do good unto all men. Let us do good unto all men. Especially, it prioritizes unto them who are of the household of faith, meaning our brethren in church. I think that these scriptures are easily understood intellectually. Intellectually, they're easily understood. From the heart, it's different. And what do I mean by that? We can interpret this whole, these scriptures and understand what they're saying, but can we translate it from our mind into our heart and into our lives? That's where it can make a detour in one's life. But this is a simple concept. It's a simple concept that what we put out is what's going to come back to us. What seeds that we sow, it's using harvesting, farming as a metaphor here. What we put into the ground as a seed, that's what's going to come out. So if you plant wheat, you're going to get wheat. If you plant corn, you're going to get corn. You plant peaches, you're going to get peaches. That it's simple, and everybody can understand that concept in the physical realm. But it works in life itself. If we take the seeds of peace and we sow that's what our life is going to be. It's going to be a life of peace. Yes, other people are going to try and interrupt it, but what we're going to have is we're going to have peace because we sow peace. Now, on the other hand, if we sow drama, we're going to reap drama. If we sow structure, we're going to reap structure. If we sow chaos, we're going to reap chaos. And people tend to think that they can sow drama and reap peace. They can sow corruption or to the carnality and reap everlasting life, peace, joy, love, hope, all those good things. But it's an easy concept for the mind, but it's our heart that needs to understand it. As I say, cause and effect. 2 + 2 is 4, gravity. And if we can understand that, and it says do good to all men to do good. And then it underlines, especially to the men and the women and the children from the household of faith. And let us not be weary in doing good. Let us not get tired of doing the the right thing. Let us not get discouraged. Let us not get flustered, frustrated, disappointed, all those things. And I know I make it sound easy when I'm saying it, but the more we understand it from our hearts, it is going to be easier to walk that way, to live that way. Not just a few hours here and there when we might be in the house of the Lord, or we're around a lot of people where people can see what we're doing, but what we do in private, what we do when nobody's looking, what we do one-on-one with individuals, how we interact with strangers or people we don't know. I think it says a lot about us. I tend to, when I come across somebody, be it somebody I know, be it somebody I don't know, I try and interpret the individual. And what I mean is, what does it look like they are going through, feeling? What is their demeanor at that moment? Is there a joy there? Is there a peace there? Is there an anxiety there? Is there a stress there? And we all know that you could pick these things up. And it's going to dictate and determine how I'm going to interact. And I have to say, okay, this person right now, it's not probably a good time to say a joke. A joke may not go over well right now. You kind of pick it up. But on the other hand, maybe that's what they need, and that's where wisdom has to come in. And you bring some humor to the scene. Maybe it's some words of encouragement. I'll do this sometimes, and I could pick up from somebody, and I won't know what to say, or I'll see it like maybe words aren't what they need right now. And you may say, oh, really, that everyone always needs words? Sometimes people want distance, and if we could say it this way, left alone. But I might tap them on the shoulder and just make a contact that way. And I just believe it sends that sends a message. It sends a message to the individual, and being conscious of how I carry myself. What is my demeanor? What am I bringing? And moving from place to place in life with whoever it might be. And if it's a stranger, and I can make a difference in their life. I know I share these stories quite a bit, but the other day I was putting fuel in my vehicle, my automobile, and I saw this younger man. I'll say younger. I'm going to say he was in his 30s, younger than myself. And you could tell that most likely he was homeless. He had a baseball cap. His clothes were beat up clothes. And I just looked at him and took it in. And normally I pay for my fuel at the gas pump, but I needed to go in to purchase. I think I had to get some water. I went in and I came out, and I saw him walking across the parking lot a little bit, and I didn't have any cash in my pocket, but I had some in my vehicle. I went in there and I grabbed it. He didn't ask for anything. He wasn't asking for money from anybody, but I just went up to him and I just said, "Here," and I just could tell that it made a difference. That he didn't take it like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" Because somebody could get insulted if you hand them some money. Yes, they may take it the wrong way. "I don't want your money," someone might say. But I just looked, and he just had this demeanor that that he could use some encouragement. Yes, I could pray for him and pray for his life And I will do that. So many times, I think I shared this last week, where I'll see an incident and I'll pray. I'm going to give you another story I may have shared already, but I just gave him some money. But I may have shared this story in the past, but there was a young man that he didn't know I was a pastor. He didn't know I was in the ministry, but he just asked me to pray for him. He goes, "Can you pray for me?" And I said, yes. I started to pray for him, and I started going through some things. And then I finished, and he looks at me, he goes, "Was that real?" I said, "Yes, that was real." He says, "I've never heard anything like that in my life." He says, "I've never heard anybody pray like that ever." And then he says, "Can you pray for me again?" And I prayed for him again, which isn't a common thing. Someone doesn't ask you to pray for him and then say, "Can you do that again?" I didn't say the same words, but I was speaking into his life. I was speaking life into him. I was sowing into him, into both these strangers. And I look and I think to myself, I don't know what put them in the position that they are in life, whatever it is. What there was something happened to them out of their control, or something happened to them in their control. In other words, they walked in selfishness, and the selfishness came back to them, or some unfortunate circumstance hit them and they didn't know how to navigate through it. Either way, it doesn't matter on my end how I interpret what brought them to where they are in their life. And I'm saying that not as a judgment, in the sense that what put them in a position where they're needing this encouragement, this help, this hand, whatever it might be. And also, when I say without judgment, to look at somebody, if it be somebody that is multi-millionaire, when I say that, 100 million, couple 100 million net worth that they have, or somebody that can't even buy a cup of coffee. These two spectrums, I want us to see this. That pendulum can swing in one's life, and we could find ourselves on either end of that. Yes, we could be worth $100 million, or we could struggle to get a cup of coffee. That we can be on either end of that. Life can send any one of us down one of these paths. So when I say without judgment, that I don't look at somebody that's worth $1 billion, or someone that can't buy a cup of coffee, and look and say, okay, this one is better. They hold higher value. And most people, the wealthier one is going to hold higher value because they offer something to them. Yes, but the heart of the person, the soul of the person, the spirit of the person, and the person over here on the other end, they both hold equal value. At the end of the day, they both hold equal value. But in the physical realm, in this world we live in, it's not interpreted that way. That's why I say without judgment, meaning we have to look at whoever it is with worth and value, and how we treat them, how we show kindness. And let me give you this too, that somebody that differs from you, believes differently than you do, we should still show light. We should still show light to whoever it is. And there's no way you aren't seeing these conflicts going on all over the world. There's no way you can't. They're all over. The United States, all these universities, there's this big division between people that are standing with the Palestinians and the people that are standing with Israel. There's this big division. And I don't want to get into all that details. And where the hatred lies, where they're saying kill all the Jewish people, and saying they have no value and worth. That this isn't new to mankind. This is something that's there. But I'm saying, of course, we stand with the Israeli people. We stand with the Hebrew people, if you want to go with Bible vernacular. The term Jewish quickly it comes from the tribe of Judah, which is one small sect of all the Jewish people. But what happened is the term Judah became Jew. It became what they labeled them as. But if you really want to interpret the word Judah means praise, which most people don't realize. When they use the term Jew, they're actually saying people of praise, which is a compliment. Now, the value and worth of the Palestinian people, they come from the lineage of Esau and the lineage of Ishmael. The value there. And myself, I have come across pro-Palestinian people. I've come across them recently. We actually have a neighbor that has a Palestinian flag in their garage, a few houses down from us. And I always look to carry myself with light. If it's a wave, if it's pausing my vehicle that they can move, come out of their driveway, whatever it might be. Because if I disagree with them, that's one thing on their stance. That's one thing. But how do I conduct myself? I actually came across a college student that was from the Middle East, and they had an anger, and I was doing my best to carry myself properly and not getting excited the wrong way. That I have to conduct myself properly because I am representing the light. I am representing the Lord. I'm representing being an ambassador of His. So I look and when I hear these interviews and people that are sharing their thoughts, and you just could tell they don't really know what they're talking about. They don't understand the big picture here. And it's just become this in thing of being anti-Israel. It's become this in thing. I quickly want to give you this. The Jewish community, the Jewish people, they don't even make up 1% of the world, the population, but it seems like they're everywhere because their abilities they always rise to the top. And this is what they're mad at. That they're asking that all the universities don't have any relationship with any Jewish-owned companies, any companies that are tied into Israel, anything. And I saw what this Jewish professor say, you want our minds, you want our brains, but you don't want us. And there was truth to that. That I'm getting excited there because he was excited and saying that because of their a Jewish person discovered penicillin and all these different things that we could go through. Einstein, of course, that the Jewish heritage, the Jewish people that have done what they've done to bless the whole world. And then there's billions of the people that their bloodlines go through with the Arab people. I use the term the Arab people without getting into interpreting the term Arab, which is actually Hebrew. But there's a lot more of them. Yes, I'm letting you chew on them. There's just a small percentage of Jewish people. So the reason I say that, it's the masses are going to follow that side because there's more of them. And that's how people are. They want to follow the masses. They want to follow the multitude. They want to follow the majority. And that's where the Jewish people are getting ostracized. They're getting categorized out here. They're getting put out because there's less of them. And people tend to do that. So the in thing right now, and you see all these American people wearing the scarf, wearing the flag. They have no clue what they're representing. They don't understand. They don't understand that if you really tied into that, the females, you'd have to cover your whole self. You just show your eyes. How many females want to live like that? They don't think that. And anybody that has an alternative lifestyle, as they say, they hang you. They'll hang you. Yes, I'm not making up the rules. And it's like, do you understand that you're supporting something that they would put a noose around your neck and hang you? And they don't understand that. They don't understand what they're standing for. Now, I get it, innocent children, and we should be praying for them. The innocent people, yes. And I don't want to argue that point that, yes, I'm not saying that they should be mistreated, but it goes on both sides. And I don't want to get into details how that's happening, because we're only see certain slivers of things, and people don't understand the big picture of this whole thing. That's going to keep going. It's not going to stop. We can pray for the peace, and we should, but it's not going to stop. But how do we interact with individuals in all these things? And watching these conflicts on both sides, and I'm looking and I'm thinking, you're sowing something. You are sowing something. And we are sowing something. We may not be in those lines. We may not, they're not far from any major city in the United States and in different countries also. But we are making a stance one way or another in our lives. We walk into a store, how we treat people, how we walk, what is our love, what is our peace, because we're sowing. It's easy when somebody does us wrong to do them wrong. It's easy to do that. What I mean is, we react to somebody's mistreatment of us. What's more challenging is to step back and say, I reap what I sow. So if they want to throw a rock at me, I'm going to reap if I throw a rock back. So even though they were wrong to throw a rock at me, I'm going to choose to walk in the path of peace. I'm going to choose to sow peace. I'm going to choose to sow love. I'm going to choose to be an encouragement and inspiration to people's lives. That's a choice that we make. And priority in my life is peace. I want peace. I want peace. We say peace in the world. I'm to peace in my mind, peace in my heart, peace in my soul, peace on my feet. So in order for me to have peace in my mind, have peace in my heart, and have peace in my soul, I must sow peace. And everything that I do, that I have to take into consideration, what am I sowing? Not what somebody else is doing. What someone else does, I can react to it, or I cannot react. And I know I frustrate people many times because of my lack of reaction. But my lack of reaction is a choice to keep my peace. My lack of reaction is I don't want to get in that mud, in that sandbox. Now, if a child is in danger, somebody's in a fire and they need to be rescued, then I need to act out. I have to step in there. Hey, watch it. You're going to get hurt there. But that's not the same as somebody throwing a rock at me and I pick up a rock and throw it back, or throw two rocks back. And say, okay, I choose peace. Why? Because I don't want to tie in to the conflict, the drama, the confrontations, and I go like this, but put an umbilical cord into somebody's life that I already know is full of chaos and drama, and they like chaos, they like drama, they like conflict, they thrive on it, they live for it, they want it, they sleep with it, they wake up, and if there's no drama, they're going to find some drama, they're going to drop some drama, they're going to create some drama. And I have a choice if I want to put my umbilical cord in there. And you have a choice if you want to put your umbilical cord there and say, okay, I'm tying into that. Or you could say, let me be a man of peace. Let me be a woman of peace. Let me be a man of love. Let me be a woman of love. And what I mean is that we walk out of love. We choose love, and I'm not talking about the love of what people put out in this world of pollution. That's not what I mean. I mean the pure agape love, the unadulterated love, the love of the Lord, that I can be a representation of Him. I'm going to start wrapping this up, but I'm going to give you this one as I put all this together here. What so many people want is the tangible. They want the tangible. They want something that they can grab onto, they can sink their teeth into. And that's why people become religious. They become religious because they see it as a tangible thing to hold on to. But the real tangible is going to be His anointing. And the real tangible could be us. The real tangible of us expressing Him, capital H, representing His kingdom, representing His ways. It's tangible because we're tangible in the physical realm, and we can transfer that tangible of His love. Later on, I'll be ministering here at 12 o'clock noon, as I always announce. But I attempt to do two things when I stand up here in a little while, is to deliver a word, but also to transfer the tangible. To transfer the tangible. And I watch so many ministries. There's many that'll do one side over here, and there's other that'll do the other side over here. But I understand that both have to be moved through people. A word, but also bringing the tangible through our life, ministering, impartation, whatever words you want to use there. But people are hungry for it. They're thirsty for it. And if they don't find it, they will sink their teeth in, not just into religion. They'll sink their teeth into vices in this world, things of this world, or get into these conflicts in these division of lines of throwing things at each other literally right now. Because it's tangible, and it brings what I try to explain to people, that a sense of belonging. I belong to this side, I belong to that side, and it brings them purpose. But when we have His word and we have the tangible of His presence, we have both. And when we do that, there's a completeness in us. There's a completeness. And when we find that completeness, that is what is perfection. That's perfection. That's not flawless, because we're not flawless. But perfection, completeness in our hearts and our minds and our souls. We have a word of the Lord, and we have the tangible of His presence. That's powerful. It's a life to be lived. It's a life to be lived. A life of purpose. A life of understanding my value. You understanding your value. And when you find those combinations of God's beautiful gifts, then you will find yourself able to walk in peace, because you don't need to be chasing all these other things to sink your teeth into. I just got pretty deep there. I hope you stayed with me. Again, we will be back here at noon, 12 o'clock. Arizona time. I say Arizona time because sometimes we're mountains, sometimes we're Pacific, but Arizona time. 1363 South Vineyard in Mesa, Arizona, 85210. We will be ministering in person. If you'd like to bless us, if you'd like to sow to our ministry, yes, sow into our ministry. There's some ways there on the screen. Text to give, 77977. Tidling, Zelle, Cash App. Where we have a bunch of different ways. We make it easy for individuals. But we thank you for being with us today, and have a blessed Sunday.